Would you be willing to put your life on the line to track terrorist activity on the internet? My next guest does that every day and has the death threats to prove it. Aaron Weisburd is a computer programmer and owner of the website Internet Haganah, and he joins me now. Do I have that right, Internet Haganah?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell me about it first of all, and tell me what it is that you do spending your time. Tracking Al-Qaeda on the internet, how does that work?
Well, it works by, if it takes a network to fight a network, what I did starting after September 11th is I put together a network of individuals like myself globally, and we use the internet to track down the terrorists who have found themselves dependent on the internet. So whereas a lot of people look at terrorist use of the internet as a problem, we see it as an opportunity to track down these people.
And so I understand they have some very sophisticated techniques that they sometimes take over unsuspecting websites and use them. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is a technique that's used more commonly in ordinary online criminal activity. And we see a lot of overlap between criminal activity and terrorist activity on the internet. So in this case, in the case of Hezbollah, they were having a hard time finding companies willing to provide them with services legitimately. And so they helped themselves to a couple of people's computers.
And take over their networks and use them in kind of a surreptitious way that even the people who are running the website may not be able to detect, right?
Well, right. I think the victims hear of it is when somebody knocks on their door and says, excuse me, why are you running, a Hezbollah website in your living room? At which point the site tends to come down fairly quickly. It's not a very sustainable technique. In the case of Hezbollah, they were trying to buy time. They were trying to move their sites to Iran, and it was taking a little longer than they could afford.
Okay, so tell me about the death threats.
Well, my job description is I help make bad things happen to bad people. And when you do that, you leave people behind who are not in jail, people who are friends and family. And, it's a good way to make enemies. This is sort of a sign of a job well done as far as I'm concerned. But I've been receiving death threats or had been the subject of hostile statements or fatwas, usually from Al-Qaeda type organizations more than Hezbollah, for about 4 years now.
All right. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you joining us here on Wicked Life.